We are told we're creatures of progress, that life moves forward in straight lines. But look closely at your own story. You'll notice something quietly defiant hiding beneath all that growth. There's a pattern, a wound that never really heals. It just changes shape. The faces change, the cities change, the storylines evolve, but somehow the same pain finds you again. It's not bad luck, it's not coincidence, it's a loop. A silent gravitational pull deep in your psyche, dragging you back to the same emotional battlefield. This is what psychologists and mystics alike have come to call the trauma loop. Before you can escape it, you have to see it. Before healing begins, you have to ask, who's really writing this script? The idea of the trauma loop didn't come from TikTok therapy or modern psychology buzzwords. It was born out of war. After World War I, Sigmund Freud noticed something strange in his patients, especially soldiers. Men who had escaped the battlefield would dream about it every night. They'd reenact their trauma in flashbacks, in behavior, in life choices. Freud called it Wiederholungszwang, the compulsion to repeat. It broke his own theories. Why would the mind seek pain? Wasn't everything supposed to be about pleasure and survival? Then came Carl Jung, who flipped the script. He saw the loop not as a glitch, but as a message, a symbolic cry from the unconscious. For Jung, the repetition wasn't just suffering. It was the self, the deeper, wiser part of you, trying to force integration. The loop wasn't trying to destroy you. It was trying to wake you up. That idea was a psychological bomb. It shattered humanity's favorite illusion, that we're in control. Because if we're repeating our suffering, then maybe we're not victims of random fate. Maybe we're puppets pulled by a hidden hand, an inner architect we can't see. That's terrifying. It means there's something inside us that wants the pain, not for punishment, but for transformation. Jung called it the shadow, the rejected part of ourself, banging on the door, demanding to be let in. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every failure is the shadow trying to break free. The loop is the psyche's way of saying, you missed something vital. Go back. And until you do, the universe will keep handing you the same lesson in a different disguise. When Jung looked deeper, he started noticing something wild. Our personal trauma loops weren't just personal. They mirrored ancient myths. The hero lost in the labyrinth, the exile wandering the desert, the lover betrayed by their own reflection. He realized the psyche speaks in mythic code. Every heartbreak and failure is an echo of humanity's oldest stories. The battles with the inner tyrant, the mother, the shadow, the endless quest. Your loop isn't random. It's symbolic. It's your myth trying to play out. And the only way through is to decode it. Here's where it gets even more uncanny. Jung discovered that the unconscious doesn't just live inside your mind. It spills out into reality through dreams, synchronicities, strange coincidences. You move cities, but meet the same type of person. You leave one toxic job, and your new boss has the same energy. Different set, same movie. That's not the universe trolling you. That's the self using life as a mirror. The outer world becomes a stage where your inner conflict performs itself. This is the ultimate psychological plot twist. Reality might be psychic in nature. The loop might not just be in your head. It might be the architecture of existence itself. So what's the purpose of the loop? Different thinkers had different answers. Freud thought it was a death drive, a pull toward the inanimate. Adler saw it as compensation for inner weakness, but Jung, and later Hillman and Campbell, saw it differently. The loop has teleology, a purpose. It's the soul's way of saying, you missed something vital. Go back. James Hillman would call it your daimon, the inner guide that keeps rerouting you toward the path you were meant to walk, no matter how many times it burns. Campbell called it the hero's journey. The loop is the refusal of the call, and life keeps calling, louder, until you answer. Fast forward to now, science is catching up to myth. Neuroscience shows that trauma literally wires itself into your brain. The limbic system gets stuck in feedback loops. Your nervous system becomes addicted to the familiar pain. Meanwhile, psychedelics and dream studies are offering new doorways out. Brief cracks in the psychic glass where people glimpse what life looks like beyond the loop. And here's the million-dollar question. Can technology, the same thing that often amplifies our loops, ever help us break them? Or are we now building collective trauma loops as a species, on social media, in politics, in history itself? Here's the hard truth. You don't escape the loop. You evolve it. The trauma loop becomes the conscious spiral when you stop running and start paying attention. The same pattern that once destroyed you becomes your teacher. The same wound becomes your wisdom. To know yourself isn't about good vibes or self-care routines. It's about confronting the archetypes running your life. It's about turning suffering into meaning. Because once you see the loop, you can choose the next move. We are not just victims of the past. We are the only architects capable of redesigning the future. The deepest wound is where the light enters. The trauma loop is not your curse. It's the soul's secret way of turning pain into purpose and fate into freedom.